My name is Gabe Dutton. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Metropolitan in Canton in Baltimore City. That's my broker. I've been there since late 2015. I currently live in Baltimore City as well. Lifelong Baltimore resident. I live in the Patterson Park area, so just right north of Canton. I got started in real estate. I was in retail sales prior, and I like sales, and I was doing relatively well in that industry, and I wanted more. Always curious about real estate, just like most folks. So I signed up for a local real estate course, which was like 60 hours, and I did that for every Tuesday and Thursday, I believe, for a month. And then I got licensed, found my way down to where I am now. I love doing real estate because it gives me the opportunity to connect with diverse population. That's something that's been a part of my development, my childhood, just a really diverse background and atmosphere, and also love it because it allows me to be a resource, someone that folks can trust with their most important asset, and also educate them throughout the process. Most of my clients are repeat buyers and sellers, so it's really gratifying to kind of help them through one purchase or sale, and then they use some of that information that we talked about before as just knowledge to move forward with and better their scenario. So yeah, Baltimore City is a great place because it's where I was born and raised. No, but really there's so many things that are special about Baltimore. I think the diversity and the population, so many different folks from different backgrounds, social, economic backgrounds. So it really creates, I think, like a melting pot throughout the city of different perspectives, different experiences that's very shareable amongst the community and the city as a whole. And also I think it's geographically it's an awesome location. We're very convenient to neighboring counties, and then also large cities. So D.C, you can get to D.C. very quickly. You can also go north, Philadelphia, New York, Penn Station will take you to, both of those locations. So I think in terms of, being in an ideal location, approximate to other, really cool cities, Baltimore is like a perfect choice. I would say it's really hard to choose like one favorite. Baltimore, I think it's over like 250 neighborhoods or so. But I really like Patterson Park. That's where I live currently. Diversity of people. The park is great, and location, kind of centrally located in the southeast, so you can get north or south pretty easily. I think Patterson Park is awesome. Also, Reservoir Hill is a really cool neighborhood that's growing in terms of population diversity, home values as well. I would also say Canton is really cool, close to the water, also close to Patterson Park. Remington, Hamden, great areas. In terms of location, getting to Baltimore County, you can get there fairly easily, and then there's a ton of entertainment and restaurants, activities that one would really enjoy. So those are a few of really cool neighborhoods, and that's where a lot of my business is, in those neighborhoods, but I'm all over the city. It's been a very interesting space in real estate, which I'm sure you've heard a ton. Like in the beginning of 2020, I had buyers that were in the market pre-product COVID and shut down, and it was really interesting to see because I had some folks that were under contract to purchase homes pull out because of uncertainty, whether or not they were still going to have their job, and just uncertain as to how things were going, with the economy as a whole. So it slowed down a little bit, because of that. That being said, I still had folks that purchased during that COVID shutdown, and it turns out they got a really good deal on their homes because there wasn't as much competition. But shortly after things were, beginning to open up, the lockdown, in a sense, was raised. The market really, I think, took off, and very quickly. I think all the folks that were kind of, pent up and had some of that cabin fever were eager to get out and realize that I need more space. If I'm going to be in the house for months on end, I need more space. Where I live is probably the most important thing, is because it's now where I work as well for a lot of folks. So the market really took off in the city. Values increased rather rapidly. Prior to the pandemic, there was a housing shortage, but it was really magnified after the pandemic and its release of our lockdown. So the market really exploded. Neighborhoods grew, home values increased overall. I think in the city, approximately 14% year over year in terms of increased average sales price, which is incredible. But we were at a place where current pending and active properties were equal for a time period, which is incredible for the city with such a diverse price point. So the market is just taking off in the city. Me personally, I think the market continues to rise, and I see this from like a personal level. I have so many buyers that are active, like they're currently pre-approved and in multiple offer scenarios, and it's just a reality of this market that you're not getting the first house that you put an offer in. You may have to put in several offers. So I have a ton of people that are still pre-approved, aggressively searching for a home, and they haven't gotten a house yet. And I know a bunch of other folks are in the same boat. So I think that carries us through the end of this year, probably the beginning of next year, assuming that rates stay somewhat, in the place that they are now. So I think the market's going to be very strong for the foreseeable future, and I think prices will continue to rise for the most part. I think folks that are entering the market, the first thing they could do, and probably the easiest thing, is become educated on the market. Have an understanding of, the areas that you would ideally like to be in, how often homes in that neighborhood come on the market, how quickly they sell. That's a really easy thing for the buyers to do, just to be educated. So when they do get on with their pre-approval, they know how quickly, or not so quickly, they have to move on, what checks all the boxes for them. The other piece is financially, saving as much as possible, which is always kind of like the key, but even more so now in a competitive environment. A buyer being, very well qualified can be the reason why you get this house versus a seller choosing another buyer that may seemingly be more qualified. So strengthening your financials as much as possible, and educating yourself on the market that you intend, buying a house in terms of like location, I think is very important and a good tip for buyers to kind of be aware of. With my buyers, particularly, like I mentioned before, like education, it's huge. Having them understand the market that they're going into, what it takes to be successful. Even though folks are in multiple offer situations and the narrative here is like everyone's getting beat out and it's crazy. I've had so many folks this year. I've actually had more buyers under contract this year than I've had in any other year. And I think that's because buyers now, with education, they understand where, what it takes to get to where they want to go. And they're really passionate about it. My family and I, we do a bunch of dining, so we love, eating out, especially in the city. So one of our favorite restaurants, Clavel, is a Mexican restaurant. They have amazing tacos and drinks. That's over in Remington. We love to go to Hampton, the food market on 36th Street. In terms of eating, there's like so many great options. So Whitehall Market, Urban Burger Bar is great. I have a friend that has a juice bar in Mount Vernon. The Good Part, healthy vegan options there. There's so many, things to do in terms of good food options in the city. It's amazing. Activities, obviously the Ravens, the Orioles is, everyone's first thought, which is, mine as well. Gives great energy and something that the city really rallies around. I am the Vice President of Patterson Park Neighborhood Association South. So I'm very involved in my community as a whole, but that is not just, Patterson Park. They, take up matters of, Southeast Baltimore and Baltimore as a whole, just to improve the community in which we live, which is something I'm passionate about. And the organization is obviously passionate about that as well. But we used to have Artscape, which is really awesome. In the summer, also AFRAM over in Drew Hill Park, which is amazing as well. Which is like you get local artists and musicians that come, and it's more like an outdoor festival with food and activities, which is really amazing and what we look forward to. And there's also twice a year there's a food truck festival in Patterson Park, which is really awesome. A bunch of local vendors and a couple of the vendors from other cities come and showcase their cuisine, which is always very fun for us. So Baltimore is an amazing city, and it's a big city, but it very much has like a small town feel. People joke and say smalltimore because it's very easy for you to run into someone that knows someone, or you've crossed paths at some point. So you have all of the resources available that a larger city, DC, Philadelphia, has, but in a real hometown feel of Baltimore. People are very passionate about the city, and you have a ton of folks that really care about the city and the direction in which it's going. So for someone that's looking to come to a place and really, plant roots and potentially affect change or be active and, in some type of meaningful way, Baltimore is an ideal opportunity, for that person. Also, in terms of value, I think Baltimore offers a unique opportunity to be so close to other major cities, and be relatively affordable compared to, Washington D.C, which is 50 minutes away, Philadelphia maybe 2 hours away or so, and really be of huge value where you can, buy a home near restaurants, walkability, public transportation, and even near water for significantly less than what you'll have to pay in some of those other cities. And I think it's only a matter of time before everyone recognizes that value that Baltimore offers, and we continue to see significant change as we have as of recently. Again, my name is Gabe Dutton. They can find me at GabeSellsHomes@gmail.com. Also, you can find me on my Instagram, which I'm very active on my Instagram at Gabriel Dutton. Just Google me, but you just put me in Instagram at Gabriel Dutton. And I'm also a Live Baltimore agent. So if you go to Live Baltimore site, which is a nonprofit that supports the city, you can find me there as well.